Raheem Sterling going from Chelsea to Arsenal, I think that's a good move. You know what I mean? I really think that's a good move. Now, a lot of people will say that, a lot of football fans, especially Chelsea fans, will say that Sterling didn't really do that much for Chelsea last season. But I actually think, my personal opinion, I think it did well in some games. Do you know what I mean? I remember when Chelsea played against Man City at Stamford Bridge, and Sterling was ripping. What's his name? Carl Walker, man. Carl Walker couldn't keep up with Raheem Sterling. Sterling did really well. So I don't really understand this hate that Raheem Sterling like gets and stuff like that. So for me, I think him moving to Arsenal is good for Raheem Sterling, especially at the stage he is in his career right now. Now, I don't think Raheem Sterling is necessarily the player that Arsenal needed in this current moment. I thought that, my opinion was that, I always thought Raheem Sterling, sorry, Arsenal need a striker. They need a striker. They needed someone like an Ivan Toney who can go in there banging 20 to 25 goals a season, but they haven't got one. They're relying on Kai Havertz to get them the goals. I think that was a big opportunity missed by Arsenal. I think they're gonna come to regret it come the end of the season in May 2025, because right now Manchester City are strong. Manchester City have the best manager in Pep Guardiola. They have the best striker in the world in Erling Haaland, who's banging in the goals. He scored a hat-trick against Ipswich, and of course he scored a hat-trick against West Ham in today's game. So Manchester City, they still got players missing, like Walker is just starting to come back. Phil Foden is injured. Rodri ain't even back yet. John Stones, I haven't seen him play yet. So Manchester City still have players to come back, and they're already top of the league and they've won 3 out of 3, and Haaland is banging in the goal. So do you know what I mean? Early warning signs for Arsenal, just letting them know the level that they have to keep up with. Obviously, Arsenal didn't win their game against Brighton. They drew 1-1. So again, they're already lagging behind Man City and they have to play catch up, which is not a good thing. You rather Manchester City chase you than you chase them, because they are relentless. But anyway, let's get back to that transfer deadline move by Raheem Sterling to Arsenal. Like, listen, Raheem Sterling, yeah, he's a proven player in the Premier League. He played for England, banged in goals for England. We all know top form for England, Raheem Sterling. Played for Liverpool, Manchester City, banged in the goal, broke records. So Raheem Sterling, his stats are 100, and I think he's got he's got 123 goals in 379 appearances. Do you know what I mean? He's got 63 assists. What more do you want from a winger? Do you know what I mean? Like Raheem Sterling, what more can the guy do to show that he's a top player? But again, I repeat myself, I don't think that was the move that Arsenal needed. Raheem Sterling is not the player that Arsenal need at this current moment if they are going to win their Premier League, for the first time in 20 years. I think that was a bad move. I think they should have went for Ivan Toney or another striker who can bang in the goal. Don't really know what Mikel Arteta was thinking there. Maybe Raheem Sterling is going to be a squad player. He's going to be a backup for Bukayo Saka. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. But I feel like he can play as a false nine. Do you know what I mean? Raheem Sterling is quick. He's very fast. He's got the pace. He can stretch defenders. So why not utilize Raheem Sterling as a false nine currently where Kai Havertz is playing? So he can switch with Kai Havertz. Do you know what I mean? In a game where maybe Arsenal need to stretch the opposition, they can use Raheem Sterling. Do you know what I mean? And in certain games, Kai Havertz, but also Arsenal have Gabriel Jesus, who has to come back from injury. So I don't really know what's gonna happen with Raheem Sterling at Arsenal, where he's gonna play. I don't see where he fits in, but Mikel Arteta, obviously he knows what he's doing. So I really hope it works out for him, Raheem Sterling. I like the guy. Do you know what I mean? He's been getting hate his entire career since he left Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? For other reasons other than football. Do you know what I mean? So I really hope it works out for him. I always think like Raheem Sterling conducts himself well. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he causes trouble where he goes. So listen, Raheem Sterling is a top player. He's banged in the goals. He's proven in the Premier League, and he's gonna add that extra little bit to Arsenal. But whether Raheem Sterling is the player that Arsenal actually needed to take them to the promised land, to beat Manchester City to the Premier League, my opinion, no. But is Raheem Sterling a great addition to the team? To the Arsenal team, to the squad, yes, because he brings a wealth of experience. People are saying, oh, Sterling is on a massive wage, it's 300 grand a week. at Chelsea, hence why Chelsea wanted to get rid of Sterling. But so how much is Sancho on at Manchester United? Sancho is on about 250,000 a week at Manchester United. And Sancho hasn't really proved himself in a Premier League. It's not like Sancho's been tearing out trees at Old Trafford. Do you know what I mean? Like they didn't want him no more. He was surplus to requirements at Old Trafford since he's falling out with Eric Ten Hag. Now, Jadon Sancho's done well in Dortmund in Germany, where the game's a bit slower. He's done well there, but Jadon Sancho going into Chelsea, I don't get that move, and I don't understand why Chelsea went in for Jadon Sancho. Now, Enzo Maresca, he might see something that the rest of us don't see, but I just don't see how it's gonna work. I mean, Chelsea have a lot of wingers. Do you know what I mean? If there's anything Chelsea don't lack, is wingers. They've got plenty of wingers. Again, Chelsea's another club. They needed a top striker. They've got Nicholas Jackson up front who misses all the chances, doesn't score enough goals. So Chelsea, again, I thought Chelsea are going to go for Ivan Toney, who can come in and bang in 15, 20 goals, 25 goals a season for them. But they don't. They go for a winger, Jadon Sancho, when Chelsea don't even need wingers. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really understand. Where is he going to play? Is he going to take the place of Madueka on the right? Or is he going to, where is he going to play for? They've got Neto in it. They've got Neto on the left. So I don't really know how this is going to happen. Again, Enzo Maresca, he's got a plan. And, for Jadon Sancho, I hope it works out for him, because ever since he's come back to England, he joined Manchester United, it just has not happened for him. Do you know what I mean? I always feel like he hasn't got the pace for the Premier League. He plays a bit too slow. Jadon Sancho is one of those players where the system and the environment has to be perfect for him to flourish. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything has to be perfect. He has to be a happy camp. The manager has to love him, hug him, put his arm around him. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything has to, all the pieces have to fall into place for Jadon Sancho to perform. Now, that is, for me, that's not an elite player. That is not an elite player. Elite players, big players, do you know what I mean, perform under any type of environment. They shine. They are the shining star of that team. And Jadon Sancho, there seems to be a problem with his attitude. Now, I'm not talking about his personal attitude. I don't know the guy personally, so I can't comment on his personal life. I'm talking about his football attitude. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he has the right attitude. When things go against him, he gets his head down. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't want to work hard. Like, really a true footballer, like as a professional footballer, when things start going against you, that's when you really stand up. Do you know what I mean? That's when we find out who you really are. That's when we find out about your character in football. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking about Jadon Sancho's personal life and everything. Now, I don't know the guy. I don't know where he's from, whatever. But from what I've seen from him, while at Manchester United, he just hasn't performed. He's had a few games where, he's had a few bright moments, but he hasn't performed. Now, is it Jadon Sancho's entire fault? No, I don't think so, because at Manchester United, a lot of big players have gone there and just, it hasn't happened for them. We're talking like Paul Pogba, Di Maria, do you know what I mean? Cavani. There's so many players that have been to Manchester United in the last 10 years. Big players, they've come in for big money. It just hasn't worked out. For one reason or the other. I don't know. Managers, ownership, so many different reasons. We can't really put a finger on it. But Jadon Sancho, he came in for a lot of money, and there was a lot of expectations, especially with the performances and assists that he put at Borussia Dortmund. We just haven't seen it in England. One thing about Sancho, he can't function in a chaotic environment. That's the problem with Sancho. He can't perform in a chaotic environment. Now he's leaving the frying pan at Manchester United to jump straight into the fire at Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? So it's a crazy one, man. I think Arsenal, the Sterling deal, Sterling going to Arsenal is a good move for Arsenal, because they're getting a player who's proven in the Premier League, who's scored lots of goals, who's won every competition in England, Premier League, FA Cup, League Cups, Community Shield, multiple times, is a proven winner. That's what Arsenal are getting in Raheem Sterling. Now, Chelsea, in acquiring Jadon Sancho, are getting a player that hasn't done anything in England. He has not done anything in England. He hasn't put in the performances. Because if he did, he'll be the main player Manchester United ahead of Rashford, who doesn't even perform. Do you know what I mean? That's another player we need to look at. Marcus Rashford has not performed for the last 24 months. Like, he's just been rubbish. You know what I mean? And Eric Ten Hag keeps picking Marcus Rashford. I tell you now, yeah, If Eric Ten Hag keeps on insisting on playing Marcus Rashford, yeah, he's gonna get himself the sack, and it's gonna be his own fault for being stubborn. You got players like Garnacho who can come in, who's been playing way better than Rashford, but Eric Ten Hag, for some reason, only he knows why, he keeps picking Rashford. Listen, that I'm gonna save that for another video. I'm gonna do another video. We talk about Eric Ten Hag, Marcus Rashford, and what the hell is going on there. I just don't understand it. But Sancho works well when he's got time on the ball, etc., etc. That's when you see the real Sancho. Do you know what I mean? But in the Premier League, fast pace and everything like that, and the demands of the Premier League are trust me, it's crazy. Him going to Chelsea in that current environment where it's just a madness right now in Chelsea. I don't know how Jadon Sancho is gonna function, but for him himself, for him personally, Jadon Sancho, I hope it works out for him. I think there's a good footballer in there because he's proven it in Germany. We know he can do the job. It's just that has he got that desire, that hunger? Has he got the maturity to apply himself right on a football pitch and really thrive at Chelsea and in the Premier League where the demand is so high and it's difficult. Every week you play teams that are coming for you. They're gonna be high intensity, high tackles, and everything like that. So I hope for Sancho it works out. I'll be happy for him. But for me personally, that's an odd move for Chelsea, who got rid of Raheem Sterling because he's on 300,000 a week. Yeah. But then get Jadon Sancho, who doesn't perform, doesn't score enough goals in the Premier League, who's on 250K a week at Old Trafford to move to Chelsea. I just don't get it. So it means one thing in it. Either Jadon Sancho has taken a significant pay cut, which I don't see him doing, or Manchester United and Chelsea have done a deal where, you know what, Chelsea pay 80% of the wages, we pay 20%. And obviously, on that loan deal, I think Chelsea have an obligation to buy Jadon Sancho if he hits the number of appearances and he scores the number of goals and assists and blah, 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 blah. So forth and so forth. You know how those loan deals are very complicated. I think Sterling is a better player than Jadon Sancho, but you guys let me know in the comments, is that a good move for Jadon Sancho? Obviously, he's no longer at Manchester United. Eric Ten Hag doesn't have to deal with him. Sancho at Chelsea, do you guys and girls think is going to work out? I personally think that's the wrong move. I feel like Sancho should have went to Italy or back to Germany where I think his style of play suits the European game more rather than the British game where it's high intensity and tackles flying every single week. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like the video. I'll really appreciate it. To the next one. Peace.